Money. Thousands of years ago, back when people were crafting everything themselves and had to hunt for their own food, money wasn't even a thing. Instead, people relied on a barter system, so if you wanted a sheep, you'd just swap it for 3 chickens. However, the problem was that by the next day, you might only get some shit for those same 3 chicken. Because of that, people decided they needed a proper currency. First, they used shells. They're small, light, and hard to fake. But then some people basically emptied the oceans, and suddenly there were millions of shells everywhere. Then they tried salt. Everyone needs it, and it was super valuable. The problem? You could be filthy rich, but if it rained, you'd lose everything. They even used rye stones. By the way, those stones are 4 meters wide and weigh 5 tons. In the end, they settled on gold, but eventually there were way more goods than gold available.
Perfectly balanced.
Which is how we ended up with coins and bills.
Yeah, money.
Today, every country has its own currency. The American US dollar, the Mexican peso, the Swedish krona, the Turkish lira, or German deposit bonds. And somehow there's always some random old guy on every bill. But money isn't just money. That's because of inflation. Simply, it means that your money is worth less. Imagine you buy a kebab for 5 euros every day. The next morning, the state gives every citizen 5 euros as a gift. Now you want to buy 2 kebabs, but the price of a kebab has risen to 6 euros. You can be a millionaire in Iran and still only be able to afford a single bottle of water. If you take 1 million Iranian rials to Europe, they are worth only about 66 cents. So 1 euro in Iran is worth exactly 1.5 million Iranian rial. With money, you can buy anything. Food, drinks, cars, houses, or animals. But there are also some strange things, such as celebrity poop.
Nor is there proof of ownership for his celebrity excrement.
There's a jar over there, and when people come in, they can... if they're famous enough, we'll give them money for pooing. Personally, I would throw the poo away, but it's so popular.
Or simply air from the past.
If it was from 2016, I would buy it, to be honest.
To earn money, you can simply go to a normal job. Or you can beg for money on the street. However, there are even easier ways to make money. There is GoFundMe, which is basically begging on the internet. You describe what you need the money for, and random people donate to you. Or you find yourself a pay pig, a man who pays women for gratification. But there is much more.
If you convert $1 into Iranian money, you get 580,000 rials. But if you take it in 100 rial notes, that's 5,800 notes. These notes are made of cotton paper, and each one costs about 3 cents to produce. So printing 5,800 notes costs around $174. Each note weighs 1 gram. So together, they weigh 5.8 kilograms. Now, if you recycle that into fresh paper, you get 5.8 kilograms of clean cotton paper. And the average price of recycled cotton paper is $25 per kilogram. That means your $1 just turned into $145 worth of paper. But if you repeat the process, your $145 becomes 841 kilograms of paper, which you can sell for $21,025. If you repeat that just 6 times, you'll have 9,293,718,890,625.
Then there are taxes. Simply explained, this means you have to hand over a certain percentage of your money to the state. There are countries with 56% taxes, but also some with 0%. However, there are some who try to use tricks to avoid paying, even though one can end up in prison for 10 years for doing so. As you can see, money is one of the most important things in this world.
$500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z?
Man, give me $500,000. Fuck Jay-Z.
So, the goal for most people is to make a ton of money. For that, you could just join a Mr. Beast video where you have to live alone in a house for 100 days. Or you invest your money. That basically means if you see something you like, you give the company your cash. A huge thing in 2020 was NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Back then, during the corona times when everyone was stuck at home, people couldn't flex with their money anymore. So a lot of people started buying super expensive NFT pictures just to have them as their profile pic. That crappy monkey was all over the internet. Even a ton of celebrities had their own NFT apes. But plenty of people thought it was totally stupid, and just to annoy everyone, they simply copied the images and used them as their own profile pictures.
Money, money, money.
What the barnacles? Oh no, me heart stopped. I'm fucking dying.
By the end of 2022, they were worth nothing. Then there is the Everydays, the First 5,000 Days, NFT by Mike Winkelmann. This NFT consists of 5,000 different images he created between 2007 and 2021. While most were random images, many had a political background. Trump breastfeeding Biden, Trump being beaten, Kanye as a spider, or Kim Jong-un as a Pokemon. In 2021, the NFT was sold for $6 $69 million.
69 million. I think it probably means digital art is here to stay. I'm going to Disney World.
Today, it is worth less than 2,000 euros. To understand why it has no value, we must look far back into the past to 17th century Holland. At that time, certain patterned tulips were new to the Netherlands. Because they were so difficult to cultivate, they were extremely expensive. Owning a tulip back then was the equivalent of driving a Lamborghini today. The problem was that tulips were only available in the summer, so people began buying contracts that guaranteed them a tulip during the summer season. These contracts were then resold to others, so a single tulip became as valuable as a house. Eventually, prices went so high that no one was willing to pay them anymore. Out of panic, everyone tried to sell their tulips, but there were no buyers. In the end, they became useless again. Besides NFTs, you've also got cryptocurrencies. To put it simply, it's just digital cash. The most famous one is probably Bitcoin. Back in 2008, some guy using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin. At first, Bitcoin was worthless and almost nobody knew about it. One guy even ordered 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins.
I just told people I wanted a pizza and I want to pay with Bitcoin. I didn't want a gift card. I didn't want some weird exchange. I wanted to give you Bitcoin and you give me pizza.
By the way, that would be worth over 690 million euros today. In 2017, Bitcoin exploded and hit 20,000 for the first time. In 2025, Bitcoin reached its peak at over 107,000 euros. Then there are the people who invested from day one and are now filthy rich.
It's just $1. Get some Bitcoins. Put it away. Goes to nothing. Who cares? Right? You only spent $1.
And then there's Stefan Thomas, who got over 7,000 Bitcoins for a video back in 2011. He saved them on a hard drive and wrote the password down on a scrap of paper, but he lost the paper and forgot the password. Today, that's worth almost €500 million. Then you've got meme coins. These are cryptocurrencies that are basically just based on memes. The most famous one is probably Dogecoin. It started out as a joke, but thanks to the internet, it became a huge success. Tons of people tweeted about Dogecoin, including Elon Musk. You can actually track exactly when Elon Musk tweeted about Doge.
Tesla's stock price is too high in my opinion. Dude, I just lost 10k because of this tweet.
The reason they became so successful was simply because the creators didn't even care if they made it big or not. Then there are others like Peppy Coin, Coinya, Popcat, and more. Then you've got shitcoins. These coins are totally worthless and are basically just made for scams. The scam is always the same. First, you pay a bunch of influencers to hype up the shitcoin. As soon as enough people have invested and the coin is actually worth something, the creator dumps everything, which makes the coin's value crash back to nothing. Probably the most famous scam recently was from the Hawk Twa girl. She promoted her Hawk Twa coin, and after weeks of the price going up, she rugged everyone. Even the president of Argentina had his own coin and sold everything after less than an hour, making about $251 million. Even a 13-year-old student did it. He hyped his coin during a live stream, and when the value shot up, he sold all his coins right there on camera and made 30 grand in seconds.
Holy fuck! Holy fuck!
Die full clip.
Holy fuck, thanks for the 20 bandos. Oh,
Yeah, he did.
Yo.
In the next few minutes, he made 2 more coins and pulled the exact same move, and he's been getting doxxed ever since. Bye.
Man.